always had a passion about cars. I remember sitting with my grandma drawing cars, wireframes of cars, playing top trumps. I think the Oldsmobile was my favourite car, the American cars, and I always liked that sort of big, heavy V8 muscle car. For me, the 928 was something that I first saw when I was a kid. This very model, it was an early car, drove past me. I was walking across the common. This car just came past, heard the sound, looked at the rear end, just thought that's a beauty. And I think for some reason I just had it in my mind that, you know, that might be a car that I'd own in the future. This is an early car. This is a 1978 build, although it's registered 1st January 1979, delivered to the Japanese market. This was actually imported into the UK in 2003 when I bought it, so I bought it off the boat, if you like. And I bought it with no history, so it was a bit of a risk. This is a very low mileage car, and that's what appealed to me at the time of buying it. It was very untouched. Probably had a little bit of pimping up in Japan, as they do. I think they had put a couple of aftermarket bits on it, including a front spoiler, which I've now removed. There's also a logo in the console at the back, which is a Bookman. It's a rare item to find on a 928, but I have spoken to Mr. Bookman himself, and it's verified not original part. So it's some tiny touches that the Japanese people did on the car, which is nice. It shows it's a loved car. So this is actually the rest of the world spec car, which means it's a 4.5 litre V8. The power output is actually very modest, so I'm imagining that all the horses are still retained within the car. It certainly feels very powerful. To drive, you would never know it was a 39-year-old car. I mean, it feels a bit like an armchair. It's dead comfortable. I've driven around the whole of South France in it. It's very smooth. It's responsive, but it's the gearbox is only a 3-speed on this car, which gives it such linear torque the whole way through. It's just great Grand Tourer. It's not that fast off the line. It's nothing quick by modern standards, but it's very powerful and torquey, and it's great. It's great fun. Like most of the 928 fans out there, we don't just stop with having one car, we have to have at least two. So I have another car, it's an S2. I bought that, it's a right-hand drive, beautiful burgundy leather interior, 4.7 litre, twin distributor. It's a little bit more powerful, it's a 4-speed automatic. You feel the grunt a little bit more, it's not such linear torque. My S2, it's a much more higher mileage car. It's much more usable sort of day to day. It has the original paintwork on it still. It still looks pretty fresh for what it is. Slight bit of patina, as they say in the industry, but I think that's nice. It means I can drive it to the supermarket. It's a much more sort of day to day driver. However, I do like the responsiveness of the 4-speed. It does feel quick and it's quite brutal. The sound is a bit different actually, and I can't really put my finger on why the sound's a little bit different. Maybe it's the exhaust system or just the age of the car. It's fine having the higher mileage. It's never missed a beat. It's very, very reliable, and I really, really enjoy driving that. They both feel very similar to drive. What I like about the S2 is really the quality of the interior. Something definitely for me is the sound. I mean, the sound of the V8 is amazing when you start it up. Recently, earlier in the summer, I believe there were 156 cars that turned up. 146, I think, made it onto the famous banking at Brooklands. We were parked all in year order, and it was great to be on the front row. It's amazing to see all the different colours and shapes and varieties, and to see the passion coming from all the owners, you know, despite people carrying 4 batteries with them to make sure that they could get it home. Even myself having a couple of starter gremlins at the time. But it was just a fantastic show. It was well organised by the Porsche Club, and it was a delight to be part of the parade. Having a shark in my life, that's what it's all about for me. I like the land shark. I've always loved the design. I think they're timeless. I think they look good today. I think on the 40th anniversary, this being a 39-year-old car, probably one of the oldest in the UK, it's just really great to keep this on the road. It's just lovely to know that I've got the car that I dreamt about when I was a kid, the car that drove past me in the early 80s, and I just thought, wow, I'm going to have one of those one of these days. And knowing that I can drive that at any time, knowing that I can go out on a long cruise in comfort, feel proper styly with the car, it's just a passion. It's just something that I would feel a void without in my life.